You're sitting on the couch minding your own business, and your dog climbs up next to you and starts licking your hand. Sweet, right? Normal dog behavior, nothing to think twice about. But what if I told you that the way your dog licks, how often, how intensely, and exactly what they're licking, can actually be trying to tell you something important, something a lot of owners completely miss until it turns into a much bigger problem. Today, I'm going to break down exactly which licking behaviors are perfectly normal, sweet, affectionate dog behavior, and which ones are actually your dog's way of quietly asking for help. By the end of this video, you're going to be able to look at your own dog's licking habits and know exactly what's going on underneath the surface. Stay with me because the difference between these two categories is often a lot more subtle than you'd expect. Before we dive in, if you want to understand your dog on a deeper level and catch things most owners never notice, do me a quick favor. Hit that subscribe button and tap like on this video right now. It genuinely helps this channel keep making free, practical content for you and your dog, and it takes 2 seconds. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with the good news, normal licking, because I don't want you walking away from this video suspicious of every single lick your dog gives you. Dogs lick for a whole range of completely healthy, natural reasons. It's actually one of the earliest bonding behaviors dogs learn, going all the way back to being puppies, when their mother would lick them to clean them and comfort them. A dog gently licking your hand or face when you come home, licking you briefly when you're petting them, or giving you a lick or two before settling down for a nap next to you, that's typically just affection, communication, and comfort seeking. Completely normal and honestly, a pretty wonderful part of having a dog. Dogs also lick as a way of gathering information about the world. Since their sense of taste and smell are so deeply connected, a quick lick of your hand after you've been cooking or after you've touched something new is often just curiosity. So how do you tell the difference between that normal, healthy licking and something that might actually be a signal of distress? There are a few key patterns worth paying close attention to, and I want to walk you through each one. The first pattern is intensity and duration. Normal affectionate licking tends to be brief, a few licks, then your dog moves on to something else, settles down, or simply stops on their own. But if you notice your dog licking the same spot, whether that's your hand, a piece of furniture, or their own body, over and over again for extended periods, minutes at a time, repeatedly throughout the day, that shift from brief and casual to intense and repetitive is often the first clue that something else might be going on. This kind of prolonged, almost obsessive licking is frequently linked to anxiety or stress. Licking actually releases endorphins in a dog's brain, similar to how some people bite their nails or pace when they're anxious. So a dog who's dealing with underlying stress, whether it's separation anxiety, a change in the household, loud noises, or general unease, may turn to licking as a self-soothing behavior. If you're noticing this pattern, it's worth thinking about what might have changed recently in your dog's environment or routine, a new pet, a move, a change in your work schedule. Even rearranged furniture can sometimes trigger this in more sensitive dogs. The second pattern to watch for is where the licking is directed, specifically when dogs excessively lick themselves rather than you. If your dog is repeatedly licking one particular paw, a specific patch of skin, or their flank over and over, this is very often a sign of physical discomfort rather than pure anxiety, though the two can definitely overlap. Persistent licking at a single paw can point to allergies, a small injury, an irritation between the toes, or even early signs of arthritis in that limb, since dogs will sometimes lick a joint that's causing them pain, almost the same way we might rub a sore muscle without even thinking about it. If you notice the fur in that area looking damp, discolored, thinner than the surrounding coat, or if the skin underneath looks red or irritated, that's a pretty strong signal that this isn't just a habit, it's your dog responding to something that's genuinely bothering them physically. The third pattern, and this is one that catches a lot of owners completely off guard, is licking the air, licking their own lips repeatedly when there's no food around, or excessively licking you specifically around meal times or right after eating. This particular pattern is sometimes linked to nausea or digestive discomfort. Dogs can't tell us their stomach hurts, but excessive lip licking, along with drooling more than usual, gulping, or seeming unsettled around food, can be their way of communicating that something feels off internally. If this is paired with other signs like reduced appetite, vomiting, or noticeably softer stools, that combination is worth mentioning to your vet, since it could point to anything from a mild stomach upset to something that needs a proper diagnosis. The fourth pattern worth knowing about is licking that ramps up specifically during certain situations, right before you leave the house, during thunderstorms, or when guests come over. This situational, trigger-based licking is a pretty clear indicator of anxiety tied to that specific circumstance. A dog who licks you intensely and follows you around right before you grab your keys and head out the door is very likely experiencing some level of separation anxiety. And that lick isn't just affection in that moment. It's closer to a stress response, almost like they're trying to comfort themselves or hold on to you a little longer. Now, I want to be really clear about something because I don't want this video to make you panic every time your dog licks you. Context matters enormously here. A dog who licks you for a few seconds, wags their tail, and then goes about their day completely normally is almost certainly just being an affectionate dog that's healthy, normal behavior, and honestly, one of the nice parts of dog ownership. What we're really looking for is a pattern. Licking that's become repetitive, intense, targeted at a specific body part, or tied to visible signs of physical discomfort like hair loss, skin irritation, or a change in appetite. One or two isolated incidents usually aren't cause for concern. A consistent pattern over days or weeks is what's genuinely worth paying attention to. Let me paint a picture that might sound familiar. Imagine a dog who's always been a normal, moderate licker, a quick greeting lick here and there, nothing unusual. Then over a few weeks, the owner starts noticing their dog licking one specific paw constantly, especially in the evenings, to the point where the fur between the toes looks damp and slightly discolored. At first it seems minor, maybe just a habit, but a closer look reveals mild redness and a faint yeasty smell, and it turns out the dog has developed a mild skin infection between the toes, something that started small but was clearly bothering the dog enough that they kept licking at it, trying to soothe the irritation themselves. This is exactly the kind of situation where paying attention to a specific, localized licking pattern, rather than dismissing it as just a quirky habit, leads to catching something early when it's simple and inexpensive to treat, rather than months later when it's become a much bigger issue. It's also worth mentioning that licking tendencies can vary quite a bit, depending on your dog's age and breed. Puppies often go through a licking-heavy phase as they explore the world and interact with their new environment, and this is usually just part of normal development rather than something concerning. Senior dogs, on the other hand, may develop new licking habits later in life that are worth paying closer attention to, since older dogs are more prone to joint pain, skin changes, and cognitive changes that can all influence licking behavior. Certain breeds known for being more anxious or sensitive by nature may also naturally lick more than others as their default way of managing stress, which doesn't necessarily mean something is wrong, but it does mean it's worth knowing your own dog's baseline so you can actually notice when something shifts away from what's normal for them specifically. The first step is simply observing more closely for a few days. Keep a mental note, or even a quick note on your phone of when the licking happens, what triggers it, how long it lasts, and where it's directed. This kind of information is incredibly valuable if you do end up needing to bring it up with your vet, since it helps them figure out whether you're looking at something behavioral, medical, or a combination of both. If the licking seems tied to a specific body part, especially if there's any visible redness, swelling, hair loss, or a smell coming from that area, that's worth a vet visit fairly soon, since it could point to an infection, allergy, or injury that needs proper treatment rather than something that will resolve on its own. If the licking seems more behavioral, tied to stress or specific triggers like your departure or loud noises, there are some things you can try at home first. Creating a calm, predictable routine, giving your dog a safe, comfortable space they can retreat to, using calming aids like a snug-fitting anxiety wrap, or gradually working on desensitizing them to their specific triggers can all genuinely help. For separation anxiety specifically, practicing short departures and slowly building up the time you're away, rather than always leaving for long stretches right away, can make a real difference over time. I also want to mention, if you've tried some of these home approaches and the licking behavior isn't improving, or if it seems to be getting more intense rather than less, that's absolutely a good reason to loop in either your regular vet or a certified dog behaviorist. Persistent anxiety-driven licking can sometimes benefit from professional behavioral support, and in some cases, your vet might explore whether there's an underlying medical component contributing to the anxiety itself. There's no shame in needing that extra layer of support. Some dogs genuinely need more structured help than home remedies alone can provide, And getting that support sooner rather than later tends to lead to much better outcomes. Here's a simple habit worth building into your week, similar to a lot of the small health checks that make a real difference over time. Once a week, spend a couple of minutes paying close attention to your dog's licking behavior specifically, not just noticing it happening, but actually thinking about it. Is it still just casual affection, or has it started to feel different, more frequent, more focused, more intense? This tiny bit of weekly awareness costs you nothing, takes almost no time, and builds a much clearer picture of what's normal for your specific dog, which makes it so much easier to notice the moment something shifts. Dogs communicate with us constantly, but almost all of it happens without words, through body language, behavior patterns, and yes, through things as simple as how and when they lick us. Learning to actually read these signals isn't about becoming paranoid or over-analyzing every single interaction with your dog. It's about becoming fluent in a language your dog has been speaking to you the entire time. The owners who catch these subtle shifts early, whether it's anxiety building up, a physical discomfort starting, or a stressor they hadn't noticed, are almost always the ones who end up with calmer, healthier, more comfortable dogs in the long run. So the next time your dog starts licking you or licking themselves, take just a second to actually notice it. Is it brief and relaxed, just a normal moment of affection? Or is it intense, repetitive, targeted, or tied to something specific happening around them? That small moment of awareness could genuinely be the first step in catching something before it becomes a bigger issue. Whether that's anxiety that's been quietly building, or a physical discomfort your dog has been trying to tell you about the only way they know how. If this video helped you understand your dog's licking a little better, I would genuinely love to hear about it. Drop a comment down below and let me know, does your dog lick a lot? And after watching this, do you think it's just affection, or could it be something more? I read every single comment, and I love hearing these stories from other dog owners. And if you know someone else who might be missing these subtle signals from their own dog, do them a favor and share this video with them. It could genuinely help them understand their dog better. Before you go, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss more videos like this one that help you understand exactly what your dog is trying to tell you. Thanks so much for watching. Go give your dog a little extra attention tonight for me, and I'll see you in the next one.